and other that VIPs putting together for the VIPs, police officers attached to VIPs all across Nigeria should be withdrawn, and they should be made to go back to their core duties. And that is why we want to look at this topic, the national security, and why the president is withdrawing about 100,000 police officers back to their base to do what they are supposed to do. My name is Charity James. I'm not doing the program alone. My colleague is here, Doi Ogunbadewa, and we have two gentlemen who will be doing the program with us. We'll be asking them questions bordering on national security and why they think the president had to withdraw those police officers. We have Otumba Taiwo Akigbe, who is a retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, here in the studio with us. Good morning, Otumba.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right. And we have another guest joining us via Zoom. He's a politician and someone who listens and analyzes the public opinions of Nigerians and the government as well. We have Segun Shomi joining us via Zoom. Good morning, Mr. Segun Shomi.
Good morning, it's nice to be here.
All right, thank you for joining us on the program. We have to kickstart the program and talk about why we think the president had to withdraw about 100,000 police officers to their base and says that they have to go back to their core duties. Let's start from the retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, because he will have to tell us what these core duties are, because we know that police officers are there to guide civilians. So what other core duties is the president referring to?
Thank you so much. You see, by virtue of the statutory responsibilities that the police force is saddled with, as enshrined in Section 4 of Police Act. Protection of life and property, apprehension of offenders, all these are there. Now when we're talking about core duties, investigation, that is professional investigation of cases, whereby you will be able to gain conviction when prosecuted. 2, patrols, street-to-street patrols, you know, engaging personnel, visibility policing. 3, traffic control. 4, you know, all these are there. Now, based on the reforms, police reforms that we embarked upon some months or years ago, you'll notice that the issue of training in a more standardized form has been taken care of by the president, you know, signing into law, the creation of more institutions and academies across the 6 political zone of Nigeria. 5. Now, we are now coming into the number of policemen performing the core duties. Are they really up to the number expected according to the United Nations standard, which is the global best practice? We are quite sure the United Nations standard is ratio 1 to 450. We have 220 million citizens in Nigeria. Going by that ratio, if you divide 220 million by the number of personnel we have today, which is just 371,800, we are going to have 489,000 policemen. But what we have on ground is just 371,800. These 371,800, 100,000 have been taken away, deployed to the VIP, according to the documentary released by the European Union Agency for, what do we call this people? Asylum. European Union Agency for Asylum, 100,000. If we remove it from 371,800, we are having 271,000.
For the whole country?
For the whole country.
Okay.
Mind you, out of these 278,000 we are talking, we have people in the admin. Some of them are not so well, here and there. So the ratio of 1 police to citizen has crossed over to like 1 to 100. How effective is this? What I know most is this. If the entire nation is well policed, the so-called VIPs the so-called VIP will be protected there. Because by virtue of Section 33 of the Federal of the Constitution of Nigeria, it has guaranteed the fundamental rights of life of every citizen of Nigeria.
Okay.
Not only the rich man or the whoever, for everybody. Then Section 34 proceeded to right to dignity, which means nobody has the right to be molested, to be kidnapped, this and that. But if we now say we are removing this bunch of 100,000 and we are sending them to go and guard the so-called VIPs, and mind you, the so-called VIPs we are talking about were not even the people that are duly eligible for this kind of, honor or this kind of guard we are giving them. Some of them were not really screened. Some of them did it fraudulently. But listen, I believe the interest of an individual is not superior to the interest of the nation.
Okay, we have to come back to Mr. Segun Showmi in there. The presidential order that came in the middle of the insecurity that everybody saw sometimes last week, do you think withdrawing police officers is a long-term solution that is needed for insecurity in Nigeria? And what is the correlation of this withdrawal to conquering insecurity, as it were?
All right, thank you very much. Let me step backwards a bit before coming to that question. There is nowhere else in the world that I have visited, and I have visited quite a lot of countries, in Africa, in Europe, and obviously in America. You will never find it anywhere where that number of police mill around private citizens, executive, government officials, the way we do here. Sometimes in the build-up to 2023, I had invited some of my friends from Russia to come to the country on holiday, and they were in Lagos. When they returned back, we met in London to review their trip. One of the things they said to me that left me profoundly, humbled or maybe sober, was that they asked me, is it that the police officers in your country, that the guns they carry are fake? Or is it that your citizens are so brave that they have no fear and respect for the police? So I asked, okay, what did you see? They said they were at the filling station of the car that we had provided to carry them around, and they were trying to buy fuel, and maybe the police officer, the security was trying to get them in, and they saw the way private people were just hassling with police officers, and they were watching police officers, not their own, other people struggle and all. I said, this is very strange. They've never seen anywhere in the world where the police is so disrespected. And it goes down to the heart of the fact that we have misused the police and the rank and file and the men of the police. So for the president to offer that directive, especially now, you have to say, Commander-in-Chief, aye, sir, well done. Would it work? I don't think that one action or one instruction will mitigate the totality of many decades of mismanagement of security across board. But what it does is that it begins to free some of those personnel for more important duties and responsibilities. I feel that we are under police, like the guests in the studio have said. I feel that our police is under-motivated. Like you can see, where else in the world do you even see the police treated and assembled with clothing that resemble ours? Almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry feel that they have the guts to meet the police officer either by the road or in the course of his duty, and they feel they can even speak back at him and treat him in a manner that is not reflective of the authority he carries. But you see, it did not happen overnight. And therefore we're not going to be able to solve it overnight. The business of the commander-in-chief telling the police to go back to the barracks is a good one. The more important good reason is that it will give us maybe the opportunity now to create private security companies that can fill in the gap and cover that space that we're using police to cover. There is no point in having insurgency in the country, which in my opinion is mostly caused by under-policing. Everywhere else in the world where you have crime of any nature, including murder, kidnapping, rustling, banditry and all that, at all the points where you have that break in security, the first responder are police. But what have we done in our country? We don't have enough police to cover the grounds. We have converted the Nigerian army into be doing civil and policing duties, almost now slowly but gradually robbing soldiers of their own mystique. So I think the commander-in-chief is right, but I think he needs to go farther than this. He needs to press the button real hard and make it very clear that when a police officer stands in front of you, is as good as the president is the one in front of you, and you have no right under the earth to begin to disrespect them. Let us start from there and then get to see how well we can go.
Okay, Mr. Showmi, let me just ask you a question about what you said about the population of the police. So you feel there should be more than that? And if you think the government should employ more police, why? Because even their number to the population, do you think that really matters if they are doing their duties well? That's my first question. And the second one is, when you say that the intention of our president by saying that they should withdraw the police that from the VIPs are good, don't forget that there is a unit in the police, there is a unit that is for special protection in the police. So if they withdraw these people, what will those ones be doing? What would be their responsibility? Don't forget as well that there are some VIPs that are entitled to security.
I think that when the nation is going through the level of unending insurgency that we have been going through for years,
okay,
it is a reflection of the failure of authority of the leadership. If the ones that are supposedly to solve the problem acquire all the police infrastructure for their own personal protection, that of themselves and their family, and the vast majority of the people they were meant to protect are now without, the opportunity of having police officers to do other duties. If you notice while I was asking the first question, I did say it will provide us another opportunity to develop private sector security companies that can take over and cover that. All of the countries of the world you go to, America and all that, top level high-ranking celebrities and co usually have need for security, but they procure that security from licensed private sector companies that can provide those type of protection. It is not normal that the police force of a nation will now, in the manner that we have abused it, now be subjected to that. Now, do I think they should recruit more? I'm of the view that we can't begin to deceive ourselves that the central command that we're running, calling the Nigerian Police Force, is efficient. It is able to do some things, but I think we have gotten to the point now where we must embark on multi-layer policing infrastructure. It doesn't make any sense for you to call the governor, the chief security officer of the state, and he doesn't have a police command of his own. You have given him opportunity to have a legislature. You have given him opportunity to have judiciary. You have even now given them permission now to have custodial, like prisons under state. And then you will not give them the possibility to have a structured, well-manned, well-funded, well-trained, well-armed police underneath the state. Everywhere we go, we see that there are county police, there are state police, there are zonal polices. Policing is a very serious issue.
But we don't have state police. We don't have state police in Nigeria. Mr. Shawumi, we don't have state police in Nigeria. You know that. Not yet.
No, I'm saying that we have gotten to the point now where over and above recruiting for the federal, we need a multimodal policing force. We can't begin to have excuses as to why people are not manning places they should man. The entire police force you have, the forest you have, the landmass you have, the variety of states you have, the open borders you have, who is going to man it? Who will man it? So if you get to this kind of issue, and we have been struggling with it for close to 15, 20 years, since the origin of this insurgency under some crazy idea called Boko Haram, or whatever they called it at that time, and Sharia, we must now react appropriately.
Mr.
Because what
Shoumi.
exactly is the responsibility of government, if not the protection of life?
Mr. Shoumi.
So, in my opinion, yes, they should. In my
Can you
opinion,
hear me?
Consider more people there for this infrastructure. That's
Okay.
my view.
Okay, Mr. Shoumi, are you saying that instead of recruiting more police, we should go for state police? Is that what you're saying?
If you recruit more police for the federal, it has nothing to do with accepting that you need to begin to think about multi-layered policing. Imagine, for instance, let's just stay where we are. We're lucky we don't have the kind of insurgency that they have in places like Zamfara and Katsina, and therefore maybe the matter is not coming home. Imagine all the wards, all the local governments, all the LGAs, all the cities, all the towns. Imagine the population. Now, can you just imagine if we could just have local government policing, working in tandem with state police, working in tandem with federal police? Why will it be that what is happening and effective in other countries?
All right, Mr. Shoumi, we'll be back to you. Sir, my question for you is, okay, we have foreigners in this country,
Yep.
and they're in the country legitimately for government projects and so many other things. Now, I want to know, in particular, those Mr. President is referring to that he should withdraw the police from, because these people, they need to be protected, and if their police is withdrawn, who will protect them? And you know, the name of the country is at stake if anything happens to them.
Thank you so much. When I was giving my opening presentation,
Okay.
I made it clear. I said not all these VIPs were entitled to the use of VIP guards or VIP security. I can talk about some, even at the moment, who are not eligible. For instance,
You have to tell us.
a politician that has no office.
Politicians without office?
Yes, that has not been elected. Because you have just joined PDP, you have joined APC, you were once this and that, you are just a politician. Then the next thing you see 8 or 12, 20 policemen hanging around him.
Then
Mismanagement.
who brings them to the politician?
I think
Must
it's
have
because he
written
can
some
afford
letters.
it, because
That
he
is
can
what I'm
pay for it.
saying, that there's going to be what we call pure scrutiny now.
Okay.
Now, let me say something. When these politicians were given this kind of offer
Privileges.
or privileges,
Okay.
the level of criminality in Nigeria had no reason to this. Let me bring your mind back to what is just happening within some days back. You hear kidnapping here, abduction here, this one here. Were they happening before? Look at this explosive, for instance, that we are having serious security for in Nigeria now. As far back as 24, 25 years, we were using explosives for commercial activities, actually. Nobody was even knowing that you should escort it from a point to another point. But as soon as the terrorists started understanding the use of these explosives for terrorist attack, then security too have to wake up so that they will be able to match up with the terrorists. As at then, maybe one policeman will just sit down in the front of the truck to escort the explosive to where the explosive will be going to. Later, it moved to 3 policemen to escort a truck of explosives. As at 1 or 2 years ago, it has moved to 7 armed policemen to escort a consignment of explosives.
Okay, maybe because of our viewer. Just break it down. I want to know those that are entitled to it now.
There is no specific list,
Okay.
but through some factors we know. For instance,
Like governors?
we are talking of top functionaries at federal level. You talk of the president, you talk of the vice president, you talk of the senators, you talk of the reps.
The legislatives?
Yes. Then when you talk about foreigners that are duly, performing their lawful activities in Nigeria, you see, we have to protect them. This will be one of those things they will screen. The state level too, you will have the top functionaries there, like the state governor, the vice governor, and deputy governor,
deputy.
you have the chief of staff, you have all these senior judges who are exposed because of the kind of judgment they have given maybe that they should kill these, which is legitimate.
Okay.
They may be looking out for them. All these people need the protection we are talking about. But not, I'm sorry to say, I'm not looking down on some people. A pastor, for God's sake, a pastor will be going about with 20 armed police.
That's supposed to have God as a security.
Look, the tax that Nigerians are paying is meant to protect everybody. Now, the communities are vulnerable as I'm talking with you. If you go to many communities now, many villages, the outposts are built but no policeman there. I'm talking of what I've seen. The IGP cannot just go and bring his children to go and put in the village post. Still the policemen that will be there, but where are these policemen? Look at some sensitive cases like rape. If somebody is raped in the village now, he will need to go, because no policeman there to even attend to the case. He will need to move from that village to a divisional headquarters. When you get there, they may say no person on ground, nobody on ground to follow you. And look at the kind of investigation that is needed for rape investigation. You need to take the swab of the specimen from the woman as soon as possible, before even taking a bath, you know, for forensic analysis. All these are making things tough. Professionalism is eroding. So we need people to occupy all these places. And let me say something again. The 100,000 policemen we are talking that are allocated to the VIPs, they are the able-bodied workforce in the police. They are the people that are gallant. They have the full hands, they have the full legs, they can jump from mountain down. If you remove them from there, what do we have left? Go to some police stations. In fact, when you see some policemen, you will be baffled that, is this, I mean, if civilian will say, I'm stronger than this one. So, we really need them to come out. We have anti-kidnapping, we have anti-car theft, we have anti-robbery, we have SWAT. All these departments that are tactical, they need able-bodied men who have been given out to go and start, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll still come back to it because you have been in the system and I know
You know
how it
better.
runs. So we'll come back to ask you some questions, particularly about those personnel. But Mr. Showumi, let's talk about this presidential order. I know that the IG has ordered, given this kind of order earlier in the year, and he told all VIPs that they should release the police personnel working with them, they should return to the base. But now the presidential order is coming, and do you think the implementation of these policies or orders of the government is something we should look into? If the AIG has given this kind of order before now, and the president is given same order, don't you think there is a systemic failure when it comes to implementation of policies or orders from top government functionaries?
Well, in an environment where you have citizens who don't consider themselves as partners of their leaders, it will be difficult for orders to be followed. When an IG gives an order, is the top of the command and, you know, the chain of command of the Nigerian police, and there are, you know, complete lines as to how officers know where their reporting lines are, where they pick their salary, who has control over them, who has supervisory authority over them. I'm sure that maybe the IG was not ready for them to comply at that time. And now that the president has spoken, I'm sure that the IG knows that it means that the commander-in-chief has given a lawful order and it must be carried out. I don't have any doubts in my mind that the Nigerian police force has the gravitas and the wherewithal to get them to comply. If you are away from your duty post for a couple of days, you'll be declared on a wall, and that also carries consequences. And after some time, of course, you'll be summarily dismissed. But the most important thing is that dismissing you is easy. Just return the arms and the material and the paraphernalia of the police in your custody, and you can go and be doing guard work for your VIP if that is what you would rather do. The order has been clean. I have no doubt in my mind that the order will be followed. And I think that all on-air personalities and all Nigerians of goodwill who understand that we are in an existential situation where armed robbery, kidnapping, and banditry and all of this madness is going on, the commander-in-chief deserves all our support, politics aside, excessive quarreling and always pulling down your leaders. This is not the time for that. this is the time for all goodwill to be behind the leader so that we can escape from this ugly trend that is making other people in other countries disrespect us. It is a matter of great concern that the President of America will refer to our country in those kind of a complimentary manner. Whatever you want to say, these are problems that have been on the table for some time, and we are the owners of our country. Presidents will come, presidents will go. When we have a corporate reason to say when our commander gives an order for the safety of all of us, we are supposed to encourage him, and we are supposed to say, well done, Mr. President. Everybody go and comply. And I'm sure he has the ability to fire the IG if he sees that compliance is not taking place. For any IG that has lost the ability to control his stroke has no reason to remain in office for one more second.
Okay, I'm putting this question forward because we know that subsequent governments have ordered this kind of withdrawal from personnel before now, and in Nigeria we know that implementation and monitoring is some equivalent task that comes with a lot of monitoring, a lot of checking, and a lot of people complying. In this case, what do you think the president should do? Now it is an executive order. What should the president do if this order is not taken to the latter? There is a police force, there is a police process to be followed if these people will be withdrawn to the base to do their court duties according to the president. What do you think the president should do now if the implementation is not taken to the latter? There are insecurity issues that is affecting everybody in Nigeria.
Well, I think that the office of the president also carries with it the office of the commander-in-chief. I'm sure that if you can do the literal interpretation of commander-in-chief of the Nigerian forces, it already covers and gives him extensive power on how to order an army, order a police, or any of his armed forces. And he has given a lawful instruction as commander-in-chief. It does not require anybody to teach him what to do if they don't obey his order. The system has not gotten that broke. Okay. It's not that bad. I'm sure that now that he has given the order, the DIGs will get, the commissioners of police will get, the ones that are in charge of DPOs, everybody will, it will go through their communication channels, and when they realize that this is serious, it will be complied with. I have no doubt in my mind. Those orders that have been given in the past that were not complied with, it is because those who give the orders were not exactly interested in full compliance. You know, Nigeria is a funny country. You give an order, it's not being complied with. You pretend as if you are blind or you are deaf or you can't see that you've not complied with that order. The country cannot be that, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. I have a very strong feeling to believe that the opportunity to get compliance is very easy. And I think that the IG, when it's not going to become a stumbling block in our security design to rescue the country and ourselves, I'm sure he has what it takes. How to become Inspector General of Police at that level to know how to insist that his orders will be carried out. And if you ask the policeman, the retired police officer in your studio, he will tell you that the police is not that bad, and we need to give them a bit of space for all that. I'm sure that after the president has seen the order in place, he may then decide to exempt one or two people because of the seriousness of their work. For instance, will the governor not have police? Will the senator not have? Perhaps if you like, will the rep not have? Perhaps if you like, will the House of Assembly not have? Perhaps if you like, will the council not have? I don't know the people that he will give the right to have. And I don't know how the numbers he will allow them to have for their own safety so that their jobs can be done. But you see all these politicians, businessmen, private people and all that, they have no business.
I think the president gave an order that NSCDC should be used as VIP protectors, and the police should be left alone for their duties. I think the direction has been taken to the NSCDC now.
Well, I think that the president is just basically, he's a civilian. I can imagine if this was the presidency of General Obasanjo, General Sani Abacha, General Babangida, or even my very good self. I would not even have had them that escape. I would have told them, go and figure out how to get your own private detective to look after you. Even the NDC, or what they call it, the civil defense, I need them for the policing duty because we are literally in a multi-dimensional. astronomical war, and I cannot afford to take officers that can be put on ground in the theater of operation and give it to you so that you can be running up and down the street pretending that you're a big man, big for nothing, doing nothing. No, I will not give. But as the president, he has given them that leeway. Yeah. So obviously, in a couple of weeks now, they are going to deplete all the rank and file and the available numbers in what they call them as roots, civil defense. And before we know what's happening, we'll not even have people of civil defense.
Okay. Hold on.
No, the country is in a serious situation. Let me land. The country is in a serious situation, and serious situation demands serious action. There is no reason for you to think that the life of a big man is more important than the life of the smallest person in society.
Okay, Atumba Akigbe, let's come to you. You know these officers, you have been with them for so many years before you retired. Do you think this VIP police officers now coming back to base, how do you think they will fit in? Nigerians are thinking about how they will fit in. They've been away, sort of, from their core duties. They've been away from investigating, from apprehending, from looking at the core security issues in the society. The main duty before they will be withdrawn is to protect. So how do you think they will be reintegrated into the police system and the reforms that we have all over? Before they were taken away, I know there will be dynamics to all of these things. It must have changed. Do you think they will fit in when they come back, or do they need retraining when they come back to base?
Thank you so much. Before I address that very question, I still want to put some little contribution to the response of my brother there.
Okay.
He has dealt with that matter very well. Well, just little. You see, when the president this time around said withdraw all VIP guards, even in the Bible it is stated. Jesus said, if you love me,
obey my commandments.
You should obey my commandments. Before now, the political willpower wasn't there.
Okay.
Before now, sincerity of purpose was not registered. Now that the CNC said this must happen. Before, if IG would call somebody that Ozondi from Imo, why should you still keep? He said, my friend, now go and sit down. I still spoke with presidents and they say I should continue. What will he do? But this time around, this thing is coming from number one of the nation. As I'm talking with you, implementation has commenced.
Okay.
Many SPU bases have recalled all their personnel back to base, and I think this morning they will be embarking on lecture parade with them to ensure they see them physically. However, the alternative is left, the alternative to put in is left for the president. And I'm sure he has put into considerations issues like compatibility and safety of the people, to secure.
He gave approval of NSCDC.
Maybe they will, I think there will still be another publication about that.
Okay.
Because it was not well established that NSCDC would. Yeah, so maybe he just said they should be thinking about that. If that would be, that should have been that publication now, because they will have gone into the capability of NSCDC. I'm not in NSCDC. I don't know their capability. I don't know the number of arms they have. I don't know the number of personnel they have. I don't know. But I'm just saying they will revisit that and they know what to do. So now back to the question, that whether these guys who had already been used to the system of VIP guards will be able to conform with the principles and operationalities of the police force generally. Yes. You see, there's something we call training, or whereby they will just call you to come for a certain training, like that. For instance, investigators, we have the basic schools there where they will send you to. They reform you there. If it is traffic, they will send you to traffic school. Within 3 months, 6 months, you get back and you have the skill. I might do what they are even doing with VIPs. They are still performing police duties there to avoid the VIP from being kidnapped. Give protection. Somebody wants to avoid the VIP from being kidnapped, it means he can deal with the kidnapper. They are now saying, okay, come to the core duties field now to arrest kidnapper. How is it going to be difficult? It's not difficult. They are the able-bodied men we have. I'm still repeating it. If you see these VIPs going with these police guys, look at the personnel. You see how gallant they look. So they would definitely perform very well. There's no doubt about that one. It will just
they don't really need reorientation or retraining.
It is necessary. In a very short form, it is necessary. But for now, there are places they can still post them. You know, okay, for instance, PMF now, they are to respond to emergency. You know, before now, even as at now, we have very, very slow response time to emergency. Because where are they? But if you have standby base at the base, standby duty base, whereby if anything happens, let me say, in Ogun State now, in Ogbere, a team is already waiting to deploy, to move. Maybe geopolitically, I mean, is it geopolitically? No. Senatorially. They have it. They were doing it before. Yeah, the PMA, they'll just signal the PMA base at maybe Djibouti to proceed. We only need manpower. If this manpower strength is boosted, I believe the work will become more it will become easier for them. And talking about whether they will perform, honestly, they will perform. It's a matter of little orientation or this training they normally go for within 2 months, 3 months. They come back gallant in that very line, and they will do excellent.
Okay. All right. When Mr. Shomi was talking, he mentioned that he trusts our police. He was praising the police. Fine. I know that the police are our friends, the way they used to say. Okay, now, why do you think that the police would obey the order? Because there are so many others. Like, one, the police are not supposed to be mounting roadblocks again. That had been said several times, and it's still there. They are still mounting roadblocks. So why do you think this one has come to stay?
You see, there are some issues that are contradictory.
Okay.
For instance, the responsibility of stop and search is one of the duties of policemen. If you don't stop a vehicle, how do you search the vehicle? Stop and search has not been cancelled in the police force. And that is the major reason why you see police where you think they are doing roadblock or whatsoever. Stop and search. So that if they have abducted or kidnapped somebody and you put that person in the boot, tell that person to open that boot. And when you open the boot, you will rescue that person from the boot. Okay, if that is not in place, they will just put somebody in the boot like a goat, and they will go, and nobody will be able to challenge them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they are trying to, that one is justifiable. It is, we are just saying they are on roadblock. What are they doing there?
And going by what you said, we still have ritual killings. We still have people that have been kidnapped, and they pass through this police.
It's still part of what I'm talking about, the number of personnel. You know, I told you that physical policing has reduced based on the fact that we are not in conformity with the standard of the United Nations, which says 1 to 450. Don't let us forget, at the moment we are on like 1 to 100.
Okay.
How effective do you think that would be? I thank the Inspector General of Police for being proactive. Sometimes, about some months ago, he suggested to the president that, please, we need like 190,000 more policemen, so that it will boost the strength of the police we have, so that we'll be able to be in tandem with the United Nations specification of 1 to 450. Now, by the time we now say, okay, divide 220 million population of Nigeria by the standard of 450 citizens, then we have a result of 489,000. And what we have on ground in Nigeria from IGP to constable is 371,800. If we remove it, we are lacking about 217,000 personnel. How are we getting this? First thing, remove this 100,000 that are posted to VIPs, let them come in. Let us have the 371,000 on ground, which has started happening now.
And I think there's another approval of 30,000 new police.
That's where I'm coming. That's where I'm coming. So the recommendation of the IGP got approval of the president. They now say, okay, every year will be recruiting and training 30,000 personnel. Now, these 30,000 personnel, you have started now. It's going to take like 6 years. 30 multiplied by 6 is 180,000, which means 2031 is when you are going to hit that target. Okay, before then, what will happen? So that is the situation on ground. Before then, what will happen? 30, before we'll be able to meet up with that. So
They should want to 450.
yeah, they should want to 450. That's what the United Nations says. And if it's not in conformity with that specification, it means we are lacking.
Okay, Mr. Shagun Showumi, we have little time for us before we leave. But before we allow you go, let's look at the broader spectrum now and look at what we should expect in the future. Do you think that the security reforms that we have in Nigeria is something that should be buckled up on? And should we ginger other agencies to assist the police in rendering the services that they have to render when it comes to securing lives and property of Nigeria?
Let me add this one to it so that you can answer it together. Now, we are saying that this police should come back. The transition, do you think it will be smooth? Do you think we are going to have a smooth transition?
Say that again.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think we're going to have a smooth transition of this police into the security force?
For the time and the opportunity to weigh in, and I truly commend your guest in the studio. Obviously, he's a trained man and he understands what the structure of the Nigerian police is about. For me, I think that we are at the point now where we need to massively reorientate ourselves from the home right down to the civil societies and the churches, the mosques, whatever you call it. The entire society now needs to ask itself, do we like what's going on in our country? The people we call insurgents are people's children. The people we call bandits are people's cousins, relatives, and even the soldiers we subject and the police we put in harm's way are people's husbands and people's relatives. When a nation has been battling with asymmetrical situation of this nature, you can throw everything at it, but until there is a big, energy within the country for people to now start demanding better from themselves, better from their own family, better from the congregation, better from society, we will not easily
All right.
finish it.
Thank you.
I commend the effort that we put on, and I pray that we can do a whole lot more to ensure that we can be a safe place. It's okay to be poor, but to be poor and to also now be dealing with fear of insecurity is a double jeopardy that no nation can afford.
Thank you, Otumba Shagun Showumi, for coming on the show. And lastly, from Otumba Akigbe, what do you think the policemen should do now? All eyes are on them.
Like as I've said, we
Well,
need
I
to...
think that they have always been the ones that
The
get to
question
be
is not
discussed
for you.
first. It's almost because the nation
Sir, okay.
is so close to the town.
Okay.
And the police is the microcosm of our society. So
right.
I just beg them not to give up, not to be discouraged, to brace up and understand that the secret responsibility of being officers of the law.
Okay, Otumba Akigbe needs to talk now.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Like as I've said, we just need to be in conformity with the specification from United Nations, that is 1 to 450, which means we need to boost the manpower. Yes, federal government is trying by allowing us to recruit 30,000 every year. But this will continue till 2031 before we could make the 180, before we could hit the 180. But better opportunity again is this. All retired personnel who are not up to 60 years, like what we do, they do it in United States, they do it in British Canada. We have been in foreign missions before. It is the veterans that have been sending to United Nations missions that we have been meeting. So we have them in Nigeria who are still strong and vibrant, even more than the serving people. Let them come for physical examination. If they are physically fit, mentally fit, with their own experience, bring them back.
All right.
For what we call re-engagement and not extension of service.
Okay.
Re-engagement in the sense that it will not obstruct the career progression of the people who are supposed to be promoted. No, the rank you wear before they call you back is still what you wear. But then the brain, you will use it for the police.
Thank you so much, Otumba Taiwo Akigbeyi. He is a retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, and he has been talking about what the president said about withdrawing about 100,000 police officers to the base to help insecurity and fight insecurity to a standstill. Thank you so much for talking on that.
Thank you.
And we also had Otumba Segun Show Me on the program. Thank you for coming, because you spoke from the angle of Nigerians, the president, and what we expect people to know about the government and police. Thank you for coming, Otumba Segun Show Me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Bye.
All right, thank you. And that will be how far we'll be having this first segment of the main interview segment. When we'll come back from the break, it will be time for us to take on another segment on the show. We'll see you after the break.